Hello. Welcome to Purnanda Yoga. So glad you could join. Today we're going to be focusing on our second chakra, Svadhisthana. It's at the center of our pelvis, right where our sacrum is. And Svadhisthana translates to our own dwelling place. This is the center of our self-nourishment, our self-care. So we're going to be focusing on that today. So we're going to take a mudra to start, a hand position that helps our energy to flow into that part of our body. So take the left hand and just open the palm, rest the arm on the thigh. Take your right hand and we're going to place it where this energy center is in the body. So it's below the navel. And just rest it softly there. You can close your eyes now or gaze at the earth. And let's just take a moment and let our seat settle in securely into the mat, to the earth. Allow the crown of your head to lift up away from the earth, elongating your spine. Let your shoulders soften away from the ears. Let your belly soften. Let all the muscles in your face soften, especially the forehead, where our thinking mind tends to be very active. We're going to encourage the thinking mind for the next hour. Just quiet. Instead of thinking and worrying and planning, I'm going to ask the mind to be very present. We'll start now with being present with the breath. Just allow the mind to notice every single breath, every inhale, every exhale. Try and change the breath right now. Just notice it. Notice the length of the inhale and exhale. Notice the temperature of the inhale and the exhale. The mind will wander. That's what it does. But when you notice it, just bring it back to the breath. Just trying to let go of all that you think and worry and plan about. Just let that go for now. Just focus on your breath. Just take a moment and notice how it feels to sit still, sit quietly. Just focusing on one thing, just your breath moving in and out. And you can sit still, be quiet. We can connect with our center of self-nourishment, our center of peace, our true essence. Go ahead and release that mudra and bring your palms together right in front of your heart. You can bow towards your heart center now. Just take a moment. We always begin class this way. So take a moment, bring the 5 things you're most grateful for into your heart. Let it fill your heart and the space you're practicing in, filling it with gratitude. Go ahead and release that. We're going to move right into our pranayama exercise. So we're going to do alternate nostril breathing, and I'll keep track of the counting and all that. I just want you to focus on breathing in one nostril and then out the other. So you can take your left hand in chin mudra, just touching the pointer and the thumb together. And the right hand you're going to use to close the nostrils. So you can press your middle finger and pointer right below your thumb. That works for you. Then you're going to use your right thumb to close the right nostril and your pinky and ring finger or something close to that to close your left nostril. So we're going to breathe in through the left, pause, breathe out the right, breathe in the right, pause, breathe out the left. So I will talk you through that. Go ahead and take your right thumb, close your right nostril, close your eyes if you're comfortable, and exhale completely through the left nostril. We'll begin inhaling through the left. 1, 2, 3, 4. Close both and pause. Exhale right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Inhale right. 1, 2, 3, 4. Close both and pause. Exhale left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Inhale left. Close and pause. Exhale right. Inhale right. Pause, close. Exhale left. Inhale left. Close and pause. Exhale right. Inhale right. Close and pause. Exhale left. Inhale left. Close and pause. Exhale right. Inhale right. Close and pause. Exhale left. One more round. Inhale left. Close and pause. Exhale right. Inhale right. Close and pause. Exhale left. Lower your right hand now. Just pause here, breathing through both nostrils now, and just notice. Take a moment, always notice. Checking in, being present. Okay, let's move on to all fours. So this chakra, our second chakra, Svadhisthana, we're going to move into some cat-cows. So get your shoulders right above the wrist, and get your hips right above the knees. This chakra governs the pelvis, the sacrum, the hips, like I said. So we're gonna put some focus on that today. So as you move through your cat and cows, I want you to initiate the movement with the hips and the pelvis. So go ahead and start with a neutral spine. And as you inhale, go ahead and look up, and you're gonna tilt your sacrum up, your sitting bones up, shoulders away from the ears. As you exhale, tilt your pelvis down, tucking the tailbone. Initiating the movement with the pelvis. Being very aware. Inhale, tilting the sitting bones up, looking up, shoulders away from the ears. Exhale, go ahead and round everything. Initiating that movement with the pelvis. Another big inhale, tipping the sitting bones up, shoulders away from the ears, looking up. Exhale, move the pelvis the other way, tucking the tailbone. Inhale, looking up. Again, moving the pelvis. Exhale, rounding, tilting the pelvis down. 2 more. This time as you inhale and look up, maybe at the top of that inhale, now switch those hips back and forth. So moving the pelvis from side to side, sitting bones from side to side. Exhale, round it. Now maybe move the head, neck around, getting the tension out of the neck. 1 more. Looking up, swishing those hips now. And round everything and nod and shake that head. Beautiful. So let's go ahead and stabilize the hips now. Keep the shoulders right above the shoulders right above the wrists. Take your right leg back. You're going to curl your toes under and get the ball of the foot on the earth. You're going to feel a nice stretch through that calf. Now find a gazing point on the earth, and you're going to gather up the core and lift the right leg up. Toes are straight down, leg is hip level. So we're using the stabilizing muscles around the hips. You're going to take your left arm forward by gazing quietly at the earth, and a steady breath, quiet that mind. Got to engage the core here and breathe steady. Release that hand back, let the knee come back. Beautiful. Take a breath. And then stretch the left leg straight back. Toes are curled under, heel is stretching. You can stretch through that calf. I'll find that gazing point. Engage your core and lift the left leg straight up, hip level, toes down, and then take the right arm forward. So you're stretching from your right fingertips away from that left heel, engaging the core, stabilizing the hip, and breathe. And go ahead and release that down. And go ahead and curl the toes under. Take the hands now to the top of the mat. You're going to come into a modified dog. Bend the knees as you lift the hips up. Focus on all 10 fingers. Grip all 10 fingers. You're going to engage all the muscles in your arms as you take your heart back towards your thighs. Knees stay really bent. You're up on the balls of your feet, and you're taking your heart back towards your thighs, opening through your armpits. Let the head hang, not and shake it if that feels good. Then drop your right heel, trying to stretch through the back of the right leg now, through the calf and through the hamstring here, and come up on the ball of that right foot and drop the left heel down. Nice long stretch through the leg. Breathe into it. Breathe out that tension, always. Come up on the balls of both feet right now, and then drop your heels any amount, any amount, any amount. Beautiful, nice long dog here now, lifting up through the core. Beautiful. Now go ahead and really plant the left foot firmly. Lift the right leg straight up behind you. We're going to come into a little bit of a hip opener here. So I want you to bend that right knee and lift the knee up. You're going to let the right foot dangle. You might be able to see it underneath your left armpit, perhaps. You're going to keep lifting that knee up. The closest thing I can have to describe this is like a dog at a hydrant. So lift that knee up. You're getting into that right hip. Beautiful. Now straighten the leg, and you're going to swing that leg up in between your hands. Got to use your core to do that. Beautiful. Now keep the back knee off for a moment. You're going to stretch through that back heel, then drop the back knee, uncurl the back toes, and start to walk your right foot out a bit, and then turn the toes so they're at a diagonal. We're going to get into our hips. Place both hands now on the inside of that right foot, and you're going to turn your foot open so the pinky side of your foot is on the floor, and the big toe side is lifted up. So you're opening up your knee away from out to the right. If you have a little room, maybe you can come down on your forearms or a block and breathe. Breathe into this right hip. Yeah, allow it to soften. So use your intention in those inhales to go in and find that tension in that hip. Exhale it out. Exhale it out. Yeah, so this energy center, the element is water that governs us. So the part of our pelvis, our hips, that area should feel like a flowing water in there, less ease and movement. Instead, I know we feel a lot of stickiness in our hips. So we're going to work on that today, trying to get some of that stickiness out. Go ahead and rock back. That's probably enough on that hip. Come back so that you can bring your foot back and your right hand on the outside of that foot now. Beautiful. Curl the back toe under. We're going to come into a plank. So you want to spread your fingers wide and get your shoulders right above the wrists. And then feet are hip width apart. Take your heels back. Really push with your hands to dome up behind your heart. Use your arm strength. Lift your core. Stretch those legs back nice and long, and breathe. Steady breath. Breath is what gives you the energy to stay here. Find your strength. Find your strength. Beautiful. Now drop your knees down. Bring your heart down between your hands. And then you're going to scoot your belly flat. We're going to come into a Cobra, also stimulating this energy center in our pelvis. So bring the thumbs back to the center of the chest. Tuck your elbows in close. All 10 toenails are engaged. Wiggle your tush so there's no tension in the tush. And then lift the heart up. So your pelvis stays grounded, stimulating that sacrum area, your pelvis, your hips. Breathe fully. Plant your hands, put yourself up to another downward dog. Stretch those fingers super wide as you come up. This time, keep those knees still bent just a little bit. That keeps the sacrum nice and open. That's why I always recommend to have the knees slightly bent in your downward dog and keep extending those heels towards the earth any amount, any amount. Beautiful. Now stand firmly in that right foot so you can lift the left leg straight up and then bend the knee. You're taking the left foot over towards the right. The knee is lifting and you should feel it in the hip. I definitely feel it in the hip. Yeah, we tend to hold a lot of dramas and traumas in those hips. So we're going to really work to open them and let out some of the tension today so we can get the hips feeling like flowing water. Okay, now straighten that leg. Engage the core as you swing the foot up in between your hands. Keep the back knee off for a moment here so you can stretch through the calf here. And then drop that back knee. Uncurl the back toes. Yes, now go ahead and walk the left foot out to the side of your mat and then turn the toes so they're facing diagonally to the corner of the mat. And then you can come down on a block perhaps, or forms, or you can stay right here if you're feeling it. You're going to turn your foot your knee open. So you're going to come onto the pinky side of that foot. Yeah, say hello to your hips. Come down on your, again, on your forearm if you have some room. Or you can stay right where you were and just breathe out the tension you're feeling in that left hip. And yes, we're all feeling it. Hips are special. They hold a lot of tension. Also, move your jaw around. Tend to let hip tension move to the jaw. So make sure you move your jaw around as you're releasing this hip energy. Couple more breaths here. Stay with it. Beautiful. Come back. Come back. Bring your foot back so that you can get your left hand on the outside of that foot now. Curl your back toe under. We're going to come back to that nice, strong plank. So right away, get the shoulders right above the wrists. Feet are hip width apart. Take your heels back. Lift the core. Lift the back body. Beautiful. Breathe. Steady your breath. Engage that core. Find your strength here. Find your stillness. The strength in the stillness. Steady breath. And go ahead and lower your knees. Bring your heart down and then slide flat again. This time we're going to come into the Sphinx. So I'm going to get your elbows right underneath your shoulders. All 10 toenails are on the earth. You're going to wiggle that tush again. No tension in the tush. And shoulders right above those elbows. And now you want to try and lengthen the lower back. So trying to take the tension out of the lower back by pushing with those elbows. Yeah, and lengthen through the lower back. Now, if it's really uncomfortable with the shoulders right above the elbows, you can take the elbows forward a little bit to ease some tension in that lower back. It'll eventually open. Again, notice the pelvis is on the earth. So again, stimulating our second chakra. Close your eyes, breathe. Lovely. Just go ahead and curl your toes under. We have to while we're here, lift up into a little core work. So lift the hips up. Keep the shoulders right above those wrists. Take the heels back. Keep the shoulders away from the ears as well. And breathe. Find your breath. Find your strength. Lift that core. Keep breathing. You can do this. A couple more breaths. Couple more breaths. Beautiful. Now drop your knees. I'm going to have you Scoot your hips back a bit. We're going to come into child's pose. I want you to get your knees really far apart and your big toes together. So you can settle your hips back down onto your heels. If your head is not going to touch, you can rest it on a block or on your fists. Or if it comes to the mat, please let it rest on the mat. Hands come back by your heels. Palms are open. And now just settle in here. Feel your hips soften, your lower back soften. Now slow your breath down. Come back to noticing every single breath. Let's go ahead and push ourselves to a seat, and then we're going to come right into Savasana on our back. So as we settle in here, go ahead and have your feet at least as wide apart as your mat. Your palms are up. Have your block handy. And as you settle in here, let's go ahead and scan from the toes to the top of the head. And let everything go here. Let it sink in. Let all your muscles let go so your body can sink into the earth. No need to hold on to anything right now. Just let it go. Let it go. Let everything soften. Now come back to that breath. This time we're going to practice our full yogic breath while we're here in Savasana. Full yogic breathing. We start the inhale in the belly. Let it expand up towards the sky. Keep inhaling to the middle of the chest so it expands outward. Then keep inhaling up to the top of the lungs. The collarbones will lift just a little bit. And then as you exhale, you want to reverse that. So the belly comes all the way into the spine as you complete the exhale, emptying the lungs completely. So it's a slow 3 counts in belly, middle chest, upper chest, and a slow 3 counts out. Let all your attention be on this breath. Keep the mind present. This takes all your attention to breathe full yogic breath. Now let's go ahead and bring your feet back about hip width apart. You're going to bend your right knee and clasp your hands around your calf so you can hug that knee into the belly, and then lift your head up towards your knee. This is Asana. Helps to relieve any tension in the digestive and elimination systems. So breathe down. This is stimulating your ascending colon. So breathe into where you think that is. Big full breath. Eyes are closed. Staying within. And then go ahead and lower your head. Bend your left knee now, and you're going to cross your right ankle over your left knee, coming into a reclining pigeon. Great for the hips. You know, really focus on these hips today. Reach around behind your left thigh, clasp your hands together behind the thigh, flex both of your feet, and bring your left thigh in towards your belly as you let your right knee push out away from the body. So you can really feel this in this right hip. Again, move the jaw around and just close the eyes and try and exhale the tension out of the hip. If you ever want to open your mouth and then exhale and encourage all that tension and just come out, please do. Let it out. This is a really good hip opener. You can do this before you get out of bed. Feels so good. It's yummy getting this hip energy out. Okay, let that release now. We'll kind of shake it out a little and take your legs back to the earth. Go ahead and bend your left knee now. Hug it in. Your right leg is stretched out long on your mat. You're hugging your left knee into the belly. Lifting your nose up towards your knee. Now you're stimulating your descending colon on this side. So take your breath there. Full deep breath. Eyes are closed. Go ahead and lower your head and let's recline the pigeon on this side. So you're bending your right knee and crossing your left ankle over the right knee, flexing both your feet, reach behind the right thigh, clasping your hands together back there and slowly bringing the thigh any amount towards the belly. And as you do that, you want to encourage the left knee. I use my elbow on the thigh, my left thigh, to encourage that to push away. I feel it a little more in my hip. That's why I do that. Which I want to feel that yummy, yummy hip energy. Move the jaw around. Close eyes. Feel it. Oh, breathe it out. Go ahead and release that. Go ahead and shake those legs a little bit. We're going to do a little core work, more core work here. We're going to work on the very low part of the abdomen here. So go ahead and clasp the hands behind your head. And as we exhale, we're going to take our elbows towards our thighs and we're going to lift the hips up just a little bit. As we inhale, we're going to stretch our elbows open, releasing our head back to the earth and keeping the knees bent, touch the toes down. So I'm getting the lowest part here. So exhale, you're going to bring your elbows towards your thighs, lift the hips up a little bit. Inhale, open, touch those toes. Exhale, lift. Inhale, open, touch the toes. Exhale, lift. Inhale, open, touch the toes. Exhale, crunch and lift. Inhale, open, touch the toes. Exhale, lift. Inhale, open. Exhale, lift and crunch. Inhale, open. Exhale, lift. Inhale, open. Exhale, lift. Knees stay bent the whole way. Open. Exhale, lift. Inhale, open. Exhale, lift. Inhale, open. Exhale, lift. Two more. Inhale, open. Exhale, lift. Inhale, open. Exhale, lift. Inhale, open. Beautiful. Go ahead and hug your knees in here. This is releasing, stimulating your transverse colon, so you can lift your head up if that feels good. Couple breaths. Lower your head and rock from side to side. Now take your arms out straight from your shoulders, palms up, both arms straight out. Take a big inhale, get your knees right about above your hips or close to that. They can be a little forward. As you exhale, you're going to take your both knees over towards your right elbow. Inhale back up. Exhale, moving over, knees over towards your left elbow. Inhale back up. So we're rocking along our sacrum here. Notice as you go back and forth, go ahead over to the right. Inhale back up. You're rocking along the sacrum. Exhale over to the left. Inhale back to center. Exhale over to the right. Inhale back to center. Exhale over to the left. Beautiful. Bring it back to the center. Hug it in again for a moment. Just rock from side to side, really stimulating the center, the Svadhisthana, in our sacrum, our pelvis area. Let's move into a little happy baby. Lots of hips today. So you're going to take your knees. You can call this a reclining frog also. You're going to take your knees, you get right angles with those knees, right angles with your feet, flexing the feet. You're going to bring your knees alongside your rib cage, as far open as you can. Grab the inside, the soles of your feet from the inside of your legs. Yeah. Yeah, and just hang out here for a moment. Try to get your sacrum down. That'll help to, again, open these hips. Exhale out the tension, move the jaw around, close the eyes. Feel it. Yummy. Getting this hip energy flowing, not stuck, but flowing. It's kind of yummy. Breathe it out. Breathe it out. All right. Let's bring those knees back together. Let's stretch out to Savasana for a couple of full yoga breaths. Feel how it feels to stretch out the front of those hips now. Big, full yogic breath. Slow 3 counts in. Belly, middle chest, upper chest. And a slow 3 counts out. Hopefully you have your block handy. You're going to come into a supported shoulder stand. So bend your knees, put your feet flat on the floor, lift your hips up, slide the block right underneath your sacrum and rest your sacrum on the block. So we're supporting the lift of the hips here in a restorative pose. Tuck your elbows and shoulders underneath a little bit so the elbows are right alongside the block or close to that. Lift the feet off and then straight up overhead with the feet, straight up, right above the hips. Yeah. Go ahead and close your eyes and just enjoy this restorative pose. So your hips are securely anchored on that block. Your feet are together, but completely relaxed. No tension in the toes of the feet. Follow the breath in all the way up to your throat. Follow the breath out. And notice the energy up in the upper throat here now. Staying present by really noticing how's the body feeling. Your hips up above your heart. What does that do to your breath? You make the breath even slower and fuller here. Slowly lower your feet back to the earth. Pause here for a moment and lift your hips up. Slide that block out. Settle your sacrum back down to the earth. You let your knees fall together here for a moment and just pause. Just pause. We're going to move into the bridge. So get your feet right underneath the knees and ground your heels in now. You can take the block. Let's put it back in between our legs here. As we lift the feet off the earth, just to keep the heels on and ground them in, and you're going to slowly lift the hips up. I want you to keep the tension out of the tush, because remember, tension in the tush compresses your sacrum. That's the opposite of what we're working on today. So keep the block, squeeze between your thighs, and come up a little higher. Try and release that tush again. So what does it take to lift your hips up? Not engage your tush. Keep releasing it. Keep releasing it. Maybe if you come up a little more, you can roll those shoulders under, maybe clasp the hands underneath. Release the tush. Try and lift a little higher and release the tush. Breathe. Breathe, breathe. Find your strength here. Release the tush. No tension there. Takes a lot of concentration. Close your eyes. Feel it. Unclasp the hands if you've got them clasped. And then I want you to focus one vertebrae at a time, rolling it back down to the earth. Gently, slowly. Use your breath. Use your intention. Lovely. And the sacrum's released to the earth. Take the block out. Now bring the soles of your feet together. Soles of your feet, bottom of your feet together. And let the knees fall open. Yummy hips. Now I like to squeeze my feet together really firmly and then release a little bit. That'll open up the inner thighs there a little bit. You can do that a couple times if it feels good. And let everything soften. Supta Vadakanasana, really lovely hip opener here. Just breathe. Breathe out the tension in the hips. Got to pay attention. Be very present to feel this, to let it go. Let's go ahead and bring those knees back together. Let's straighten the legs back to Savasana. Coming back to your full yogic breath here. Let's go ahead and stretch the arms over the head. Stretch the toes nice and long. Let's roll over onto our right side and then onto our belly. And make a pillow with your hands. Put one cheek on your pillow, big toes together, heels apart. We're going to come back to the Cobra. Beautiful asana for this energy center we're working on. So get all 10 toenails now on the earth. Put the forehead on your mat. Place the thumbs right at the center of your chest. Tuck the elbows back. As you inhale, I want you to keep the tush nice and soft and lift everything up, including the hands, just an inch off with the hands. Exhale, let everything come back down. Inhale up. Exhale, release back down. Inhale up. Keep that tush soft. Exhale, release back down. This one, we're going to inhale up and we're going to hold it and breathe here. Lengthening through the lower back, strengthening the back, and notice the pelvis is firmly grounded, the tush is soft. And breathe. And then lower all the way back down. Make a pillow, put the other cheek on your pillow, big toes together. Wiggle that tush nice and soft and settle into the front body here for a few full yogic breaths. Let the back body soften now. Feel the strength in your back. Big full breath. Then go ahead and push yourself to all fours gently. Maybe a modified cat-cow here, just to move the pelvis around a little bit. See how everything's feeling. Then let's come around to a seat for a posture Tamasana. Let's go ahead and sit firmly on our sitting bones. Have your block handy. Do another hip opener while we're here. So sit on your sitting bones. Let's go ahead and, with the legs stretched out, both of them in front of you, now bend the right knee, and you're going to let the knee fall out to the right. If that's too much, you've got your block, you can tuck it in there. All right, now sit up tall again. Your left toes are straight up. You're going to inhale, keep your back nice and long. You're going to lead with your heart towards those left toes. Lead with your heart. So we got a nice hip opener here as well as a forward bend. When you can't go any further, I don't want you to pull. Just let everything hang. Let the head hang. No tension in your neck. And just steady your breath here. Breathing deeply into your belly, into your pelvis. Steady your breath. Really feel how this feels to open the hips here and lengthen through that lower back. Notice where you can take your breath to soften a little more. So maybe you can come forward a little more. Just notice what's keeping you from completely releasing. And take your breath there. No judgment, just take your breath and soften. And go ahead and inhale and walk it back up. Stretch your right leg out now, nice and long with both legs. Sit tall here. And then bend your left knee. Open the left knee out to the left. Tuck a block underneath there if that would feel good. Take your right toes straight up. Lengthen through your spine as you exhale your heart towards that right foot. Any amount. And without pulling, just let gravity in your breath ease you forward. Exhale fully and let it release. Let out where you're feeling that tension again that's keeping you from coming all the way forward. Probably a little hamstring, probably a little hip tension. So breathe into those areas of the body. Encourage them to let go. Big full breath here. And then inhale yourself back up. Now for a really amazing hip opener, we're going to come into frog. We did a reclining frog, kind of, happy baby. Now for this frog, you're going to have your knees pretty far apart and you're going to make right angles with your knees and your shins and with your feet. Your feet are going to be flexed. So pretty wide apart with that. If you don't have a nice thick carpet like I have, put a couple of blankets under your knees. You're going to need that. So flexing the feet, you're going to place your forearms down on the earth and you're going to take your hips back. So make sure the knees and the calves are flexed. You don't want to have the knees really bent like this. You've got to open it up so that the knee has a right angle with the calf. That's going to really open the hips. That's what we're working on. Okay, bow into this. We won't hold it too long because it's very intense. Move your jaw around. Your hips are going to love you for this though. It's the best hip opener I have ever found. I didn't used to like this pose, and then I did it a few times, really focused on exhaling out this tension, and my hips really thanked me for this. So stick with it here. I know it's intense. You're taking your hips back, right? Taking your hips back, any amount, any amount. Exhale it out. Exhale out. Keep those feet flexed. I think we can do a couple more breaths. I'm feeling it. All right. Now, the best way to come out of this is pretend you're like a frog and you're going to dive into a pond. You're just going to take your belly forward and flatten. And then swizzle those legs back together and just swish those hips side to side a couple of times. Push yourself to all fours. Lovely. And you're going to come right back into a squat. So feet are hip width apart or more. Toes are out maybe. And bring your elbows on the inner thighs by your knees, palms together. Close your eyes, bowing towards your heart. If you need to, tuck a blanket underneath those heels so they rest down. Just a couple breaths. Beautiful. Now go ahead and release yourself to a forward bend. Feet are hip width apart. Just let everything hang here for a moment. It's a way that we come to a standing pose without hurting our lower back. So bend those knees and uncurl one vertebrae at a time, all the way up to Tadasana. We're going to end with Warrior Two because now we've got those nice open hips. We're going to use those nice open hips to come into a really strong Warrior Two. So stand with your feet really wide apart. Long, really wide stance. All your toes are turned in just a little bit. Now turn your right toes to the short side of your mat. And your hips are going to stay open to the long side of the mat. Okay. Now, as we bend into this right knee, we're going to make sure the knee tracks on the pinky side. So first take your arms straight out, ground both of your feet, weight equally distributed. Look over your middle finger of your right hand and bend that right knee. You're trying to get the thigh parallel to the mat, the earth. Make sure that knee tracks the pinky side and the knee does not come in front of the ankle, right above the ankle. Lift out of your pelvis here. Find your strength in your legs, grounding in your feet, and that beautiful opening in those hips. So the right knee is tracking over the left, over the pinky toe, over the pinky toe. Bend that knee a little more if you can. Beautiful. Now drop the left hand on the back of the left thigh and lift the right arm up. Nice side bend here, keeping the bend in that right knee. And inhale back up, unbend that right knee, turn those toes in a bit, stand tall. Let's move to the other side. Feel those nice open hips. Turn your left toes now to the short side of the mat. Right toes are turned in a little bit. Your hips are open to the long side of the mat. You're gonna open your arms, looking over that middle finger, let those shoulders release, and then bend into that left knee. You're trying to get the knee right above the ankle, thigh parallel to the floor, but the knee is tracking over the pinky toe, and the knee is not in front of the ankle. Stand strong in those feet. Feel your strong legs and those open hips. Breathe. Steady your breath. That's where you're finding your strength, your willpower, and your discipline here. Beautiful. Drop the right hand on the back of that right thigh and lift the left arm up. Nice side bend. Keeping that bend in that left knee. Strong legs. Lifting up again. Turn those left toes in. Your walk your feet together so they're hip width apart. And stand here tall in your Tadasana. Just shake those legs a little bit. Move those hips a little bit. Hopefully you're feeling lots of space and movement and flowing freely now. Close your eyes, stand tall. Breathe in your wholeness. Breathe in your strength. Breathe in your peace. Let's find our way down for a final Savasana. Make sure there's no props that are going to be touching you as you settle down here. Your feet as wide apart as your mat. Let your palms be open. And now take a moment. Let's wiggle those heels away from our hips. Lengthen through the lower back there. And wiggle those hips down. Yeah. Wiggle the shoulder blades down. That'll support your heart. Be nice and open here. Roll the head from side to side. Find that perfect spot for the head. And let go of the control of your breath now. Just let the breath flow. And focus on your toes. Relax the toes. The toes are relaxed. Relax the feet, the ankles, the calves, the shins. Feet, ankles, calves, and shins are relaxed. Relax the knees, the thighs, the hips, the pelvis. The knees, thighs, hips, and pelvis are relaxed. Relax the abdomen and the chest. The abdomen, the chest are relaxed. Relax the lower back, the middle back, the upper back, and the entire spine. The whole back is relaxed. Relax the hands, the arms, and the shoulders. The hands, arms, and shoulders are relaxed. Relax the neck and the throat. The neck and the throat are relaxed. Relax the jaw, the tongue, the lips, cheeks, ears, nose, eyes, eyebrows, forehead. The whole face is relaxed. Relax the heart, relax the lungs, relax the stomach, the intestines, the kidneys, the liver, the pancreas, the brain. All the internal organs are relaxed and the whole body now is completely relaxed. Now quiet the mind, let it be still. It's like a very deep lake that has no ripples, no currents. There are no thoughts. The mind is still. Slowly bring your awareness back to your body, back to your breath. And start to wiggle your fingers and your toes. Gently moving your arms and your legs. And then take your arms up over your head so you can give your spine and your body a gentle stretch, a big wake up breath. And then go ahead and bend your knees, bring them into your belly so you can give yourself a big loving hug. And then roll to your right side. You can cradle your head in your arm for just a moment here. Eyes closed, mind quiet. And then put yourself up to a seat. As you come to a seat, just go ahead and bring our palms together in front of our heart. Go ahead and bow gently to your heart. Close your eyes. Just take a moment. We'll finish with bringing that big sense of gratitude back into your heart. This time with gratitude for you, for taking this time, connecting with your own dwelling place, your second chakra, a place of self-nourishment, self-care. When you provide that care to yourself, it allows you to connect with your true essence, which is kind and content and peaceful. And then little ripples of peace just flow out from you all day long. So gratitude to you. Thank you for showing up for you. Loka samasta sohino bhavantu. May all beings everywhere be happy, healthy, and free. Namaste. Thank you so much for joining. I hope you have a beautiful day.